Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today we're going to be creating a painting that's going to illustrate movement in the night sky. And we're going to be actually making an aurora borealis. That's going to be the subject of our painting. We're going to be creating the northern lights. Before we started painting, my students viewed some amazing aurora borealises from the northern hemisphere, and we were inspired by them. I've included the ones that my students watched in my YouTube playlist. The first step is to wet the paper. So you want to take the paper, and I have a 12 by 18 sheet of paper, and I'm holding it by this 12-inch sides, and I'm going to turn the water on first, and I'm not going to have it full blast because I don't want the water to spray everywhere. It's important not to get the water all over the sink area and on the floor. So I take my paper, and like I said, I'm holding it by the 12 side, and this top side won't get wet. And then I'm going to bring it all the way into the sink. That way it's not being sprayed out on the counter. And then I'm going to just slide it in to the water. And you can see when I'm holding both sides, I can manipulate the water. I can bring one side up, one side down, and it moves the water. But it's important to keep it very low inside the sink. And then I'm just going to simply let go of the bottom half and then turn the water off. Now, if somebody else is coming along, you can leave the water on, and then you just move to the next basin in the sink on the other side. When you're at the other side, just let it drip for a few seconds until all the puddles really come off, and then you're going to grab the bottom edge, and then you're going to carry it two hands like this out of the sink. But it's important to go to the next side and let it drip. That way the running water isn't going to get splashed out on the counter. You want to make sure you don't get the water on the counter or the floor. Then you're going to go and place the paper, holding it carefully like this, in front of a color. Once you're in front of the color, then you're going to go ahead and start adding your color to it, your drops of watercolor paint. And this is liquid watercolor. I always give the paint a little gentle stir first, and then I'm loading up the brush pretty good with the paint. Now I'm going to place my drips wherever I want to on the paper. And I'm going to just use up the paint from the paintbrush here. So I'm going to place several drips, just kind of using up all the paint that's on that brush. And that's all you really need. You don't need to go back in and add more. You can use another color, so you just carry your paper carefully, holding both edges to another color. I'm just going to bring the color to me right now. I'm going to just use this orange. Give it a stir, and then add your second color. And you can place it where you want it. You can put some up in here even if you want. And then return the brush back carefully to the container. And for my class, I have, let me turn it a little bit so you can see it here. I have the containers set up, each color in a separate container with their own brush. And I just store the brushes like this. And I'm using some old brushes, very inexpensive old brushes, and these are just left in there for my classes, and I'm doing this with some 3rd through 5th grade kids. Now you're going to manipulate the colors by holding it up into the sink. So once you have the two colors placed, you bring it to the sink and you're letting it drip in the sink. By manipulating the colors, you can add little bits of water, and when I spray it, I don't want to be really close. I want to be a little bit away and just lightly mist it with water. The more water you add into the paper, the lighter the colors will be. And we don't want to have this really faded. So we're just lightly misting so the colors are moving. You want it to show movement, and that's what our goal is. You can also add some of the blue spray paint toward the bottom, or actually place it where you want it, because I don't want to restrict you. Again, don't put it really close to it, because that's going to give you just an intense color in one area. And you can see now how the colors are moving. And if I turn my paper to the side, let's see, it can start dripping that way. So I'm manipulating the colors and creating some more movement in my painting by turning it every which way. If you don't want all these little speckles, just go back with some water now and bring it out. I don't like it when it's all that little blue speckly stuff. So now this is creating that movement in the night skies like the aurora borealis. And I'm just giving it a little shake here because I'm trying to move my color until it's pleasing to me, and I really like what's going on here. Now, this is the bottom of the paper, so we're working down and we're kind of working upside down. But the final result is going to be something like that. And then we'll be able to do our sketch at the bottom and create maybe some walruses or seals or some of the animals that live in the Arctic or Antarctic. Once it dries, the colors fade a little bit, as you can see here in this example. And this is how I set up the paint trays for my students. I put them on the counter, and then the kids just come up and help themselves to the colors. This was a 4th grade class's examples here that you're seeing now. And these could also be other paintings. You don't have to turn them into the Aurora Borealis images. You could put anything else you want on this or use them as collage papers. There's millions of ideas. So if you have any other ideas that you would like or are going to use the paper for, put it down in my comments. But my class is going to use these, and we're going to put animals from the Arctic and Antarctic in the bottoms, or we're going to do silhouettes of mountains or trees, or beautiful silhouettes of those animals. That would be great too. But we're going to turn them into some Antarctic and Arctic pictures. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, and be sure to let me know how your papers came out in the comments below.